Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next video. This one is going to be a follow-up to the last video, which was of course the booster box opening for my Titan Masters Attack Wave 5 booster box. And like I said, I was going to do another video doing a game. I think I said I'd do 2 videos, but the deck building process was a little bit long, so I felt okay, that just scrap that video, let's just get straight to the game. Just because, building straight out of a booster box is interesting, but there are sort of limited deck building options in the sense of, a lot of the rares are very specific, so they weren't used. So it ended up being, the 2 decks are somewhat similar, but they are still directed. So before we get into the gameplay, let's quickly go over the 2 sides. So you can see what I went for here. Autobot versus Decepticon. That way, the Autobot and Decepticon specific cards weren't being spread across the decks. They could actually get to use their specific stuff. And what I went for here was in the Autobot deck, went for Autobot Outback, who is the upgrade guy that I kind of liked, as you probably saw during the booster box opening. So the deck is a little bit more upgrade specific. I think it's like the 40 cards in the deck. I think it's like 23 upgrades, 17 actions. So it's slightly leaning more towards that for Outback to get more draws by discarding upgrades. We have Optimus Prime, of course. And of course he is one of the Titan Masters, and the head that I went for here is Stylor, who is the +1 defense head. So yeah, it was kind of tricky, given that I decided to do Autobot versus Decepticon. I wanted to use Optimus as the headmaster I was using, so he sort of filled up enough of the slots that where if I wanted to go 3 wide, this was kind of the only options I had to use the 2 smaller star cost guys. And the last character, of course, is Brawn, who, again, I think I was pretty impressed with when I kind of opened him up. For being a common, he is very good, and I think he just fits, in general, into most decks, because the deck here is sort of mixed pip, I suppose is the best way to say it. It's got some orange, it's got some pierce, it's got some blue, some white. It's a little bit more sort of trying to be balanced. So Brawn's ability, where it's based on the number of colors that you flip, and defense or attack, depending what mode he's in, will actually sort of go off. I don't know how much the secondary effects of Optimus is going to go off in this deck, just because it is 3 versus 2. So there's probably a high likelihood, especially in the other mode, that they'll have less characters on the field than us. But with the Decepticons, I went for 2 Titan Masters, and I used the stratagem. So let's cover Megatron first. So I went for the Megatron. Why not? Optimus versus Megatron. He's pretty good, just good attack, decent defense in this mode, and then has a good damage dealing ability. I gave him this head. It's an Autobot head, but I think you are allowed to use them. This is Parsec. 1-star head, bold 1. That will help him because the Decepticon deck is much more specific with the battle cards. Nearly everything is either orange or pierce, so it's orange or black. So he should be getting a lot of damage in, basically, is a way to view him. But, like I said, I also gave him the stratagem. So his stratagem is for 2 extra stars. Your Megatron Fallen Hero has bold based on the amount of damage that he has. Bold 1 for 1 to 5 damage, bold 2 for 6 to 10, and 11 plus you get bold 3. So he already has bold 1 because of the headmaster, the Titan Master. And so the idea is that we could theoretically have just built-in bold 4 by the end of the game, and just some of the battle cards that can add to that. And because the deck is mainly orange and pierce, it should go through straight away. The other one I went for was Mind Wipe, who has of course got the effects where he's one of them is when you flip to this mode, choose a battle icon color, look at your opponent's hand, and scrap a card that has that battle icon color. So guess to get them to discard a card. And then the other side is when it attacks and you flip at least a black icon, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and scraps it. And if they can't, you draw a card. So I thought that was just good advantage, limiting card draw and stuff like that. And then the head that I gave him was Briscoe, who's one of the rare heads, who gives +3 health, which I thought was kind of good to do because he's the weaker member of the team, only 12 health, so this bumps him up to 15, which is the same as Megatron, and so it's a little bit more even in that way. But anyway, let's get into the game. So yeah, 2 40-card decks, and this is the setup. Everyone starts in alt mode. And yeah, that's the way it is. Nothing complicated here with the setup. Each player draws 3 cards to start off with. They're the hands. And yeah, we just decide basically who goes first. So if we just roll 1 dice for them, 1 dice for them. So Autobots go first based on that dice roll. So yeah, we draw a card into our hand. So there's our opening hand. But the way the game works is that the player who goes first can't play any cards. Player who goes second gets to play 1 card, and then from then on out, everyone can play 2 cards. So obviously it's 1 upgrade, 1 action. So yeah, but we can still transform. We get our 1 transform for this turn. I'm still pretty new to these cards, so I'm still figuring out the exact sort of sequence for transforming. Autobot Outback, if we flip to his mode, his bot mode is more for defending upgrades. Optimus, we probably don't want to go in with yet, because you know his bot mode ability will heal, so someone has to take damage first. So it's an interesting one in that a few of them have abilities that are like when you flip to this mode. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to flip Outback. So then next turn we can potentially get the draw card effect when we flip again, and I'm going to attack with Brawn. So his effect is when he attacks an enemy that has more stars than him, which in this case is either or, he gets Pierce equal to the number of colors that you flip from the attack flips. So that's what we're going to do. So there's our transformation and our attack. So again, the way attacking works in this game is that you flip 2 cards by default and you see what happens based off the colors. So the 2 flips are Triangulator and Improvised Shield. So that is 2 colors. We got orange and green. That means he has Pierce 2, so he has 3 attack plus 2 for the 2 orange pips. So 5 attack, Pierce 2. And we are attacking, I guess we'll attack Megatron to get started. Oh, actually, no, sorry. Megatron's in tank mode, so it's probably not good to attack him because he has 3 defense. So we'll attack Mind Wipe. So the defensive flips are like so. So they flip these 2. So it's a blue plane, so that's not going to give them defense because it's only for planes. And an orange pip. So that actually doesn't do really anything for them. So the way that this works, of course, is that so what it is 5 Pierce 2 versus 2. So we actually do more damage than that. I think we do 3 damage. So Mind Wipe takes 3 damage here. I'll just put this beside him. This dice. Yeah. So that's the first attack done, and yeah, we have a green card in hand here, so we can choose to get this into our hand if we want. We just have to decide if we want to scrap one of the cards from our hand to make this happen, and I actually will. Yeah, so what I'll do is from the hand we will basically swap out Handheld Blaster for Triangulator. That's the power of the green pip cards. You can get them into your hand. And yeah, that ends our turn. Of course, the way this game works is that you get 1 attack, and then you can only attack multiple times if your opponent is completely tapped out on all their cards. But anyway, their turn. So they draw a card, and they have Handheld Blaster, Concealing Contrails, Magnetic Dysfunction Ray, and Scouting Mission in their hand. So Scouting Mission is interesting. They could do 1 damage to one of their characters to draw a card. So yeah, I think that's probably the best thing to do in this turn. Play the action Scouting Mission, do 1 damage to Megatron to get a draw. So we'll put the dice there, and they draw 2 cards. I like that card. It's pretty cool just that you can damage either or, but you give your opponent a draw if you use it. But it's pretty interesting. But yeah, it's only the second turn of the game, so we can't play any other cards. Then it's to decide who to flip. So he can attack, and if we flip a Pierce, we can get them to scrap cards from hand. So that's probably the best thing to do, actually. So we'll flip Mind Wipe. There's the body mode. And we will attack with Mind Wipe. Also, this mode is better for him attacking. He's got 5. So he's forced to attack Brawn, because you have to attack tapped characters. So it's going to be 5. And then they get so his effect goes off here. When this battles and you flip at least a Pierce icon, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and scraps it. So which card do we want to get rid of? So as we have no weapons in hand right now, so we'll just discard Blade Flurry. But still, that could have been a useful card later on. So yeah, there's the 2 flips, double Pierce, so it's 5 Pierce 2. versus the defensive flip for Brawn is going to be 2 defense and then 2 here as well. So his defense is 4, so it's 5 versus 4, but it's pierce 2, so 2 damage is done to Brawn. So 2 damage here. And you can see that this is kind of how it goes. It switches back over to the Autobots at this point. We draw a card, and yeah, now we can play properly. We can play an action and an upgrade every turn going forward. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to flip Autobot Outback. We can scrap an upgrade to draw 2 cards. We'll discard Handheld Blaster to draw 2 cards. And yeah, we can still play both. So flip one of your characters from bot mode. So we have no one in bot mode right now. So what about this? Equal number of Autobots and Decepticons for each of those Autobots. Okay, so that's okay. I think that I'll use that. So turn the tide. I'll choose Brawn and Megatron. So we transfer 1 damage from Brawn over to Megatron, and that is what that card does. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We have there's a slight healing theme to the Autobot deck because Optimus can heal, and there's a few other cards as well. And we are probably going to attack with Outback, I think. So what are we going to do? Yeah, we'll just put Fusion Borer on him so he gets some damage through. It's Pierce 3, gives +3 attack as well, and you scrap the card after the battle. So we'll attack with Outback, and we're forced to attack Mind Wipe. So it's 6 Pierce 3, and then we flip. So we get a white pip, means we flip 2 more cards. So blues aren't counted on attack, so we get Pierce, another Pierce, so it's Pierce 4, 6 Pierce 4 versus Pierce, so it's just versus 1. So it does 5 damage. We were guaranteed a certain amount. So there, they take 5 damage. They now have 8 damage in total on Mind Wipe, but they have 15 health because of the head as well. So yes, and then after this character attacks, discard this card. Scrap it, I mean. So yeah, that's fine. And then so with our flips, we can decide we can get Mission Briefing into hand if we want by green pips, which I think I will do. So I will swap out Mission Briefing for Hit and Run, and these are the battle flip cards, and they go into the graveyard. So yeah, then we swap over to the Decepticons for their turn, and they draw. So action and upgrade. Do 1 damage to each character, do 1 damage to each Autobot. That seems okay, and this is more of a defensive card. So I'll actually play this. So Secret Action is played sort of face down, I suppose. I'll just put it here, just so I remember to use it. And that will be a defensive card on their turn. And then they want to put an upgrade on someone. Pierce 3, Alt Mode has Tough. Yeah, I'll put this on. Conversion Expertise on Megatron. I'll just put it here. There's not a lot of space, but that is on Megatron. And yeah, we can still flip if we want. So yeah, we'll flip Megatron. So when he flips, he gets +2 attack. So there he is. So what we're going to be doing here, so while he's in bot mode, actually, yeah, that doesn't work because that's actually, yeah, I won't actually do that because there's a difference between body mode and bot mode, so that actually won't work with him in that mode. So what I'll do instead is I'll put Grav Inhibitor on him. That way he has Pierce built in. So we will attack, and now there's 2 tapped characters for the Autobots. They can choose either or. And they'll choose Brawn, because Brawn is in his mode where it's more built for attacking. So I probably should have flipped Brawn last turn to defend him better, but we'll see if he can survive this. So Megatron is going to attack Brawn. And so he's coming in for 5 +2 from his ability, which is 7 attack. So it's 7 Pierce 3, and then he's got Bold 2. 1 from the head and 1 from Revenge. So there's a lot going on this side here. So flip 2 cards. flip 2 more for bold, and that's it. So the tank one doesn't go off because Megatron's not in tank mode right now. So it's Pierce 3 for sure. So that means he overall has Pierce 6. So it's 7 Pierce 6. That's really strong. And then they also have a green pip card if they want to get that. So let's see what we flip here on the defense. So 1, 2, this doesn't do anything. It's another Pierce and orange icon. So it's just 2 defense versus 7 Pierce 6. So that means it's all automatically going to do 6. So yeah, Brawn is in trouble here. He has 7 damage and he only has 9 health. That's where we'll need to do some healing, of course, and we'll get that because Optimus has to attack next. So yeah, and then they can decide if they want to get Disassemble into hand, which I suppose they will. So yeah, they'll swap Disassemble for Conversion Expertise, and these are the Battle Flip cards, and this is their hand. And of course, they have this secret action ready to go for next turn as well. And it comes over to the Autobots. So we draw card. Okay, Sharpened Talons is pretty good. And so yeah, this is good. So draw a card for each character you have on the battlefield in bot mode or body mode. So actually no, I thought that was just in any specific mode. So yeah, we won't use that right now. I guess we'll have to actually. So I'll flip Optimus here. And his ability goes off when he attacks. So I'll play Mission Briefing, which will just draw us 1 card for now, just to give us more options. We got another Mission Briefing, which is kind of funny. And then what will we put on Optimus? I suppose I will put Trithelium Shield on someone. Yeah, I'll put Trithelium Shield on Optimus. That's probably the best thing to do right now. I was thinking about putting on Brawn, but he has such low health. Even if we heal a lot, it's probably not going to do too much. So then Optimus will attack, and we are going to attack, I guess Mind Wipe, because he's in his less defensive mode. Okay, so the secret action goes off when one of the characters defends. So it doesn't happen just yet, so we'll do our attack flips here. So we'll flip 2 cards. We get Pierce 1, but it's 2 green cards as well. This is interesting. So it's doing 6 Pierce 1. This is a defensive card. Okay, so that's interesting. 6 Pierce 1. They activate their secret action. And what this does is the defender gets +1 defense until end of battle for each Pierce that they flip. So they flip 2 cards, they get 1 Pierce. That means they get 1 extra defense, so it goes up to 2. So it's 6 versus 2 defense. The Pierce 1 doesn't really matter in this case. And so they take 4. So that just means, yeah, this goes up to 6 and 6. That's 12 damage total. So the normal health of Mind Wipe is gone, but they still have the 3 extra health from the head. This secret action goes away. Helped a little bit, not too much. And yeah, then we decide about these green cards. We'll get the other triangulator into our hand here. I will scrap I'll scrap, yeah, Mission Briefing to get triangulator, and that will go to the scrap pile. So now this is what happens here. Everyone has attacked, so we attacked last. So everyone untaps is the way that this works, both sides of the field. And it turns over to the Decepticons for their turn. Okay, so they draw. Okay, and then they can choose to transform. And yeah, I'll transform Mind Wipe here. So yeah, Mind Wipe transforms. When you flip to this mode, choose a battle icon color, then take a look at your opponent's hand and scrap a card from it that has a battle icon of that color. So obviously this is sort of a bit of an unfair card when I'm playing both sides of the board. So I'm just going to be like, okay, their deck is sort of mixed. That's what we've seen so far. We're just going to say blue for the sake of it. They're an offensive deck, so they'll say blue. So if we have a blue card in hand and we don't. Now, admittedly, you know, a better option would be like they saw that we saw all those green things, so they realistically should have said green. So let's just say they said green. They had that information of that we had done greens like on every single flip. So we'll discard Sharpened Talons because it says to. But you know, that's just one of those cards. It's kind of hard to do in a game like this. But anyway, they've done their transformation, and then they can do this. So they will use disassemble. So scrap any weapon or armor, its owner draws a card. So they'll use that on Trithelium Shield. It goes away, but they get to draw a card. So that's pretty funny, actually. Triple Triangulator for next turn. So yeah, their action has been used, and now they have to use a upgrade. So they have a Megatron has a weapon. What are we going to do? Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is I'll do. We're going to attack with Megatron for sure. So I'll do, yeah, Spiked Bracelet onto Megatron. That adds tough 2 to him. So he will attack in this mode because we've already done our flip. So he still only has 2 damage. So we'll flip 2, and then we'll have bold 2. They got a white, so they flip 2 more. So that's, what's this? 3 orange pips and 3 black pips is what's happened here. So that is, and it's Pierce 3 from this card as well. So it's Pierce 6, and it is 8 Pierce 6 overall. And they're going to attack Optimus, because he's kind of wide open once and for all. Or should they go for Brawn? No, Optimus, because he's in his kind of low defense mode, they probably need to get the damage in. So, yeah, this is 8 Pierce 6, like I said, and we'll do the defensive flips. So, we get 1 extra defense here, so it's 2 versus 8 Pierce 6. So it still does 6, it's just a 6 regardless. So, yeah, 6 damage to Optimus, and that ends the turn. They can get Mission Briefing into their hand if they want, and I suppose they will. They'll swap it out for Handheld Blaster for Mission Briefing. And so it comes over to our turn. We draw. Okay. And now we have to decide what we want to do. So we are going to swap. What will we do? Draw a card. If you have fewer cards in your hand than your opponent, draw another card. So that's not really needed right now. And yeah, I forgot when I attacked with Optimus on the last turn to heal 1 damage. So Brawn actually has 1 less damage. That's something I just forgot to do from before. I guess I'll flip Outback into his more attacking mode, and I will do Triple Triangulator on Focus 3. Will I do it on Optimus or Outback? I suppose I'll just do it Outback because he's sort of like, I suppose, our weakest attacker. So 3 triangulators on him. We're able to do that because each triangulator says when you put this on a character, you may put another one on the character as well. So that just is the way it stacks. So that means Outback has Focus 3, and it will also play Hold Down as our secret action, which is a defensive one for next turn. So Outback will attack, and we have to attack Megatron. So Focus 3, before flipping battle cards, when battling, look at the top card of your deck, you may scrap it. So with Focus 3, I think the idea is that, like, I forget about this exact ruling of, like, do we do it one at a time or what? Either way, I suppose that's probably the most effective way to do it. We get to look at the top 3 and decide based on that. So, no, it only work if you do get to look at all 3. So there's our 3 cards. So I suppose we get to just choose a number of them to scrap. So this is a no pip card. This is a blue card. We'll scrap that, and we'll leave this on the top. So yeah, these 2 get scrapped. That one stays on the top, the white pip, so we can flip more, and then we go. So we're attacking Megatron, so we flip 2, and then 2 more because of the white pip. So we get Pierce 2, so 1 extra attack Pierce 2, so it's 5 Pierce 2 overall. So that's fine. And then Megatron is going to defend. He has tough 2 because of Spiked Bracelet. And yeah, so 1, 2, and then tough 2 as well. So Pierce and Orange don't do anything. They do have this high 5 to maybe get, but they probably don't want that. So yeah, it's just 1 damage, and what did I say it was? It was 5 Pierce 2. So Megatron is going to take 4 damage overall. So he goes up to having 6 damage now, which means the bold 2 is now active on the stratagem, which is quite good. Yeah, and also Triangulator works on defense as well. So that's kind of good for what's about to happen next. And yeah, their turn. So they draw. So let's see what they have here. Bot mode or body mode. Yeah, so they will flip Mind Wipe into his body mode. They will activate Kamian Crash does 1 damage to one of your characters and 2 damage to the enemy. So Megatron will take another damage over here, and 2 damage will be dealt to Brawn. So Brawn only has 1 health left, unfortunately. And then Improvised Shield is an armor upgrade, weapon armor. I suppose it's only tough 1. It's not the best armor, so we'll just put this on Mind Wipe to try and protect him somehow. But he will attack Outback. So flip 2. So yeah, white pips, so we flip 2 more. So that's Pierce 2 overall from this, meaning his effect goes off and we have to scrap a card from our hand. Which we don't actually have any cards in hand, which is funny. So that effect doesn't actually go off or do anything, but it's still 5 Pierce 2 coming at Autobot Outback, and we get to look at the top 3 cards of our hand for focus 3 and choose to scrap them if we want. So we are going to scrap just Master of Metallicato since it won't go off. And yeah, these are the top 2 cards of our deck, so these are the 2 that we flip. So we get 2 more defense, so that is 3 defense versus 5 Pierce 2. So it just does 2 damage. Okay, that's fine. That's Outback's first damage. You can see there's a decent amount of just like, you have to account for so many things in the battle. Just with flipping all the cards and stuff like that. Oh, and I completely forgot, the secret action is meant to activate as well. So it's actually, they get Pierce tough 4 as well, so we have to flip 4 more cards. Okay, this one doesn't count, those 2 don't count either, so it's 2 more. So it's actually 4, but they still have Pierce 2, so it still does 2, yeah. So it didn't actually change anything, but the amount of cards that we flipped was meant to change. Now, we could have, I think, not activated this, but I suppose we didn't want to forget about it. So okay, it goes back over to the Autobots now. And yeah, these are the Decepticon icons. So we draw a card. So we're sort of low on cards over here, so we need to draw. So we'll flip Optimus into his alt mode, draw a card. Then if you have fewer cards in your hand than your opponent, you can draw another card. They have 2 in hand, so that doesn't actually go off, unfortunately. But we now have a couple of options here. So what are we going to do? I suppose Brawn is pretty much done, so I am going to put Industrial Grade Phase Charge on him. So this is it's an upgrade weapon, it gives 2 attack, but if we want to when we attack, we can activate it, it'll be scrapped at the end of the battle, or it's scrapped immediately, and instead of 2, it's actually 3 attack. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to leave him in this mode, because this is his attacking mode, and we're going to attack with him. So we are going to attack Mind Wipe. So hopefully Brawn can take out Mind Wipe. He'll probably then be taken out whenever he's attacked next, and we'll see what happens. So we only have one card to draw here, so this is one of our flips, and we'll shuffle our discard pile to make our deck again. Okay, so 2. So we flip 2 cards. Yeah, we're white, so we flip 2 more. Okay, so how many colors do we get here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 colors. So he's got Pierce 5. That's Specialist, that doesn't go off. So 1. So he's got, we're going to activate Industrial Phase Charge. So 6, 7, 7 Pierce, 5, 6, 7 Pierce 6 overall, accounting for all the different colors that we have here and so on. So let's see how this goes. Okay. Yeah, 7 Pierce 6 coming at Mind Wipe, and they have Tough 1. So that, Tough 1, nothing. So either way it's going to do 6 damage, so Mind Wipe is killed. So his upgrades go away, and the body goes away. The body is now taken out of the game. But this is the thing with the Headmasters, or the Titan Masters. This now becomes active as Briscoe. So Briscoe has 3 attack, 3 health, 0 defense. But it comes in untapped, so we can't like target it immediately or anything like that. So I believe this does change the like turn order now. Like just that happening means that it comes back over to us. So that's kind of cool. But Braun did what he needed to do. We'll swap the green icon cards out like this to get Mission Briefing into our hand. And yeah, it goes over to their turn. They draw. And yeah, so they'll flip Megatron, I guess. And then of what's left here, yeah, I suppose this is probably the best thing to do. Magnetic Dysfunction Ray. This is an interesting one. Do 1 damage to each character, do 1 damage to each Autobot. So that means this damage is gone. So Briscoe takes 1 damage. Megatron takes 1 damage. 2. And then the Autobots all take 2 damage. So Outback goes up to 4. Optimus now has 8 damage on him, and Braun is killed by this. So Braun is out of the game. He's just a normal character, so he's just gone. So we'll just move Optimus over here a little bit. Yeah. So yeah. So that's a cool one. They managed to kill a character, you know, but outside of combat there. So that was that, and then they only have more actions in hand. They've already done the transformation, so Briscoe gets to attack. So, you know, it would have been cool if we got to upgrade him, but it's fine. So again, one card, we have to shuffle the deck to get the rest of the cards to flip. Okay, so 2 cards to flip here, and we get nothing that we really want, but we can get this weapon into hand if we want to. So yeah, that doesn't really do much there. So we're attacking Outback because we have to. Outback has Focus 3, so he gets to look at the top 3 cards of the deck and choose to scrap them if he wants to. So yeah, scrap all of them because none of them are good on defense. And we'll flip 2 more and nothing again. So yeah, that's just 3 versus 1, so 2 damage to Outback. So he goes up to 6 here, and yeah, they will decide to swap out yeah, Mission Briefing for Sharpened Talons with the green pip. And then it comes back up to the Autobots. So we draw, we will flip. Do we want to do that? To draw. Actually, yeah, but Paralyzer Box I want to keep. And then, what's this do? Scrap an upgrade. No, that's not going to work for us. So we'll flip Optimus into body mode. And yeah, so for each character you have in bot mode or body mode. So yeah, we'll play Mission Briefing. That will get us 2 cards, draw 2 cards. And then we can put something on either of them. So, yeah, I'll put Paralyzo Box on Optimus. So, what this says is, when the upgraded character attacks, choose a battle icon color. Then your opponent reveals the top card of their deck. If it has a battle icon of the chosen color, the upgraded character gets +4 attack until the end of battle. And so that is what we are going to do. So I can choose to attack Briscoe or Megatron. I don't really care about Briscoe, so I want to get more damage on Megatron while I can. So that's what we're going to do. So Optimus is going to attack. So I get to choose a battle icon color. So I've seen all their deck is about Pierce. So I basically needed to choose orange or black. That's the color that I need to go for. And which one is going to have more of. I'm going to say black because I just know that this deck has a lot of black in it. So top card of the deck, unfortunately not. So that's just revealed. So that will be their first card on the flip. So we will then, so when this attacks, repair 1 damage from one of your characters. So we can choose to do Optimus himself or Outback. Yeah, I'll just repair Optimus just because that's probably better for the overall game going forward. So yeah, so we'll flip 2 cards, just defense, so that doesn't do much for us, unfortunately. Yeah. And we're attacking Megatron, who has tough 2. So he flips this, and he flips this. None of that does anything. Oh, tough 2. And again, nothing on the flips. So that is just 6 versus 3. So that's 3 damage. Okay, so Megatron now has 11 damage. His ability in tank mode didn't actually go off because even on defense he didn't flip an orange. So that was sort of unfortunate. Like a lot of the stuff on that one didn't actually go off properly. But yeah, everyone has now attacked, so we all untap. So Optimus untaps, Outback untaps, Briscoe untaps, and Megatron untaps. And what's cool about this game is that like there's still a whole lot left, even though like 2 of the characters have been killed. Like Briscoe's taking the place of Mindwipe. There's still Megatron's head. There's still Optimus's head, and Outback, of course, is still on the field. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There's still a little bit to go, but of course the game's going to be much shorter when it gets down to the Titan Master heads battling each other. So we draw. So what do we have here? Bot mode or body mode. So yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll flip Megatron, because he's the only character we can flip, into this mode. He gets +2. We'll activate Mission Briefing here to get 2 cards, because we have 2 characters in bot or body mode. And then we will decide to go with... yeah, that's what we'll do. So we'll use Fusion Borer on Briscoe. So we're basically going to sacrifice Briscoe here, because like this one attack is probably his best opportunity to actually do something in the game. So we're going to do Briscoe attacking Outback. So this is 6 Pierce 3 attacking Outback. Yes, and so yeah, 2 cards flip. We draw 2 more. Okay, so this is actually pretty good. So he's not a tank, so he only gets 1 of these. So it's Pierce 5 anyway, and it goes up to 7 Pierce 5 is what we're dealing with here. So Outback has Focus 3, so we'll check the top 3, and we'll put these 2 away. We'll keep the blue on top, but with the amount of Pierce that's going on here, we're done. Like there's no counter for this at all. If he had the Trithelium Shield, he'd be blocking some of the Pierce, but no. So we open 2, we get 1 extra defense, but yeah, that's it done basically. He has so much attack. Outback is taken out. So the 3 triangulators go away. Outback dies. So he is out of the game as well. And yeah, so we're left with just Optimus on this side of the field. So that's kind of bad. Maybe I should have taken out Briscoe last turn. But yeah, Fusion Boar goes away. Yep. And then do they have a green card here that they can get? Nope. So that is that. Autobot turn. So we'll play our secret action, End Hostilities. Is a defensive card, really, really good defensive card as well. But if this deck has a lot of Pierce, it's probably not going to amount to much. So let's see what happens. So we have a weapon. We'll put a we'll put a utility on Optimus. So Paralyzer Box and Spiked Bracelet on him. What can we do if we flip to this mode? Draw another card. If you have fewer cards in hand than your opponent, draw another. So we could draw 2. Yeah, actually, I think I'll do that. So I'll flip Optimus into truck mode, and I'll draw 2 because of yeah, he has more cards in hand than me. So yeah, we get to draw 2. So okay, we're set up for kind of next turn here. We're going to be sort of more defensive going forward. So yeah, and then we will attack. So we're going in for 5, and then Paralyzer Box will activate. So call a color to try and get +4 attacks. I guess I'll go black again, just see what happens. That just feels so unlucky that like that's what two times in a row I'm attacking with Optimus, and like this card comes up again. So yeah, nothing happens there. So it's just we flip. So we flip 2 more for the white, blue. So yeah, the only one that counts is this. So it's Pierce 1. So 5 Pierce 1. Attacking. We have to attack Briscoe. So let's see what happens here. We pretty much have him. We just have to do 2 damage. So yeah, that's not going to help. And yeah, Briscoe's taken out. So Briscoe dies. And yeah, it's between Optimus and Megatron here. So we'll move them over here. So there we go. It's just a battle of the leaders at this point. And like, okay, Optimus has the slight advantage here just with the amount of damage. Megatron actually is pretty low, but he has more upgrades on him. But yeah, it's Decepticon turn. This turn will probably make it more even, so we'll see what happens. Do I want to do that? Camion Crash to do 1 more damage to Megatron. That feels very risky at this point to in any way think about doing that. Sharpened Talons. The weapon we have now gives bold 1. So that means Megatron has bold 5 at this point. I think that's good, so we don't want to play that. So yeah, we'll just play Secret Action Concealing Contrails face down. And then do we switch modes at this point? Yeah, I think we want to go defensive a little bit here. So we'll switch Megatron into this mode, and then we'll attack. Because he has so much Pierce, he should be able to do a decent amount. And just having 1 extra attack shouldn't matter too much. So, yeah. So we'll attack like so. So Megatron... Oh, wait, this is when this activates. When one of your characters defends, so Optimus defends, End Hostilities activates. So they will move. So 2, and then it's bold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, bold 5, they've already got Pierce 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No whites. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Pierce, Pierce, that doesn't do anything. Pierce, orange and Pierce. So these 2 don't count for anything. So it's, let's see, 4 attack, nothing else adds, just raw attack. So 6 attack, it's Pierce 3, 4, 5, 6, whoa, 5, yeah, Pierce 8, so it's like what, 6 Pierce 8. Now, you can't do more Pierce than you have attack, so it's basically 6 Pierce 6, which is very strong. Let me just make absolute sure here that I have this right. So 4, 2 oranges, yeah, that's it. But, End Hostilities. Each orange either player flips is a blue instead. So it's only 4 Pierce 4 because these oranges are now turned into blues. Now, let's see what we get over here on the defensive side of things. Because there's Pierce involved, the only thing that really matters is basically how much we get our defense up. So we'll flip 2, and then we'll flip 2 more for the Pierce, and we get blues. So 3 blues, that's 5 defense. So it ends up being like 4 Pierce 4 versus 5, but because it's Pierce, it still all goes through. So that's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, Optimus has 11 damage now. So End Hostilities was okay there. Probably prevented like what? Actually, I don't think it prevented anything. We got our defense up enough to do what we wanted to. So yeah, and then yeah, I think a few times in the game I've actually forgotten about the 1 extra defense from Optimus's head. But there's so much Pierce going on, I don't know how much of an effect that actually has. So yes, that's that. So yeah. We'll go back to our turn now. So yeah, everyone untaps, sorry. We draw. Scrap any weapon or armor. Let's see, okay, we'll do that. Disassemble. Take off their spike bracelet for the tough. So we are kind of going in here. And then what weapon, utility, armor are we doing? Will we swap weapons at this point or not? Do I take the risk on the Paralyzo box and potentially go for game here, or do I just go Fusion Borer? 11. Yeah, I suppose that's probably the best thing to do. Okay, I'll scrap Paralyzo box to put Fusion Borer on Optimus. We'll flip into this mode to get the extra attack off, and we'll go in. Okay, so we are attacking now. Yeah. So Pierce 1. So it's 6. So sorry, 9 Pierce 4 is what's happening here. Versus. Oh wait, this activates. Concealing Contrails activates. So every black pip becomes 1 defense. But I don't think it's going to matter that much. Let's see. So they have no tough, so it's just 2 cards. They flip 2 more. So 1. So their defense goes up to 4, but it's Pierce 4 in the first place. So that damage is going through. So Megatron dies. That's what happens here. So Megatron is killed, but he's a headmaster. Fusion Borer goes away. These 2 battle cards go away. And yeah, we'll just swap out Handheld Blaster for Sharpened Talons. And was there any green for them? No. I don't think I put too much green in that deck. But yeah, Megatron dies. Oh yeah, do 1 damage to the attacker after battle. Did they do an orange? Yeah, they got an orange, so Megatron's effect does go off. So he does 1 damage as he leaves. And yeah, Megatron is KO'd. But they end up with Parsec on the field. I suppose this doesn't count for anything anymore, so we'll just flip that over. Megatron's weapons go away. So even though it's a Headmaster, you need that Titan card, the Escape Capsule, to keep the upgrades. So that's what happens there. And yeah. So, it is their turn. So we draw. Okay, so Parsec here only has 1 health. So this is the game is basically over at this point. So this is one of those just unfortunate things of like, yeah, this isn't great. Let's see what they can do. Emergency Barricade, that could maybe save them for a turn. Yeah, they're pretty much going to have to go full defense. Because if they go full offense, they might get damage through, but they're just going to die next turn. So it's an interesting thing of like, if we use these 2, we could survive a turn. If we use these 2, we could kill Optimus. And it's about like... Actually, no, we can't do that because this would do 1 damage to it. And that's probably about the only option there. So that's kind of out of the picture. So just... It's got bold. I think we kind of have to be maybe more defensive here. So Emergency Barricade and face down Concealing Contrails, and we'll just attack normally. So let's see, 2 damage, and it's bold 1. So that was actually really good on the flips. So 1, 2, 3, and pierce. So this becomes 5 pierce 1 is what's happening here. So let's look at this. So Optimus has tough 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 2 extra defense. No whites, yes. So 3. So it's what, 5 pierce 1 versus 3 defense. So it's doing 2 damage. That is not enough. So that is 14 damage just there. And I think at this point it's probably over. So we'll see what happens on the defense. Yeah, that's it. It comes back over to us. Everyone untaps. Yeah. So we draw. I can't use high five. So yeah, I'll put Sharpened Talons on Optimus. And I will just attack. Okay. Yeah, so we have to just check this. They obviously activate Concealing Contrails on the attack. But yeah, I think this is over. Like 0 defense. Oh, actually no, it's 3 defense here because of that card. So 3 versus 8 attack. 1 health. There's a chance, but it's not particularly high. So pierce 1, that's it. That basically determines the game. There's no way they can defend against that. Just what do they get? Tough, so that goes up to 1-4. It would have won anyway. So yeah, that's the game over. Parsec dies and Autobots win. So it's one of those interesting things with the game, the way it went. Of like it showed that the deck for the Decepticons was probably like better suited in terms of just getting damage through, but it shows you that like going too wide isn't great. Even in this, where it was like 2 that became 2, it still wasn't enough. It probably highlights that if you really are relying on the Headmasters, the Titan Masters at the end, you probably do need to play like 3 copies of the Escape Capsule card or whatever it's called. Just to make that happen. I think I had 1 in each deck. Yeah, Escape Capsule. That's the thing that keeps the upgraded characters upgrades on it as it goes through. I didn't get a chance to use it there, but you know, still pretty cool. I didn't, of course, get to use anything too special with this. Like, this is where, like, from here on out, like, you know, I'll probably go into sort of deck building with using the rest of the cards I have from the other sets. But still, you know, it's definitely, I think, a cool set. I think it's more cool for the characters and what Titan Masters are going to add, more so than I think there being that many like absolutely sort of blow away battle cards. Some of them are interesting and will slot straight into other decks, but definitely it doesn't feel like there's anything too impactful just there. But definitely some of the characters are definitely the most unique part of this. But yeah, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.